Lingaraj Ers, who is Aam Aadmi Party Karnataka MLA candidate from KR Puram, grandson of legendary Chief Minister of Karnataka, Sri Devraj Ers. Lingaraj co-founded Genesis, which expanded its IT business across India, Europe, and North America. True to his ancestor, Lingaraj decided to use his management perspective, skills, and service delivery experience for public service. The prime focus of his developmental work is on education, environment, healthcare, and civic infrastructure. Welcome, Lingaraj.
Thank you, Aditya.
My first question to you: in 2015, you fought and won panchayat elections from Kanamangala. So before panchayat elections, you already took Aam Aadmi Party membership. What was the reason behind joining AAP instead of following your grandfather and joining Indian National Congress?
Oh, that's a long question. In 20, at the height of the India against corruption movement, few of my friends came together and we were completely, taken in by the movement, like most people at that time in India. Uh, and when Aam Aadmi Party was formed, we said we must do our own little bit, uh, donating to Aam Aadmi Party, and that's how we became members
Yeah.
of Aam Aadmi Party. As regards Congress as an option, I don't think it's ever an option. My grandfather, at the time of his untimely demise, had left the Congress. And he had left the Congress for two reasons. One is the dynastic rule, as well as high level of corruption, which the Congress is not even able to shake it out even today.
Yeah, that's true.
And for reasons, I think people like us, I don't think we will have much to contribute in Congress than in Aam Aadmi Party.
Being an entrepreneur and grandson of former Karnataka Chief Minister, you could have easily got a ticket for MP or MLA from any party, but you decided to fight a panchayat election as an independent candidate. So why you choose to fight panchayat election not as an MP or MLA candidate?
A couple of reasons. One is we've always been taught by my grandparents and elders in the family to remain rooted, be humble, and make sure that whatever you do, uh, you are able to do it to the best of your ability. So I decided to contest the panchayat elections purely and simply to understand what is happening at the lowest form of democracy in the country,
Yes, yeah.
which is quite open in many ways because it is at a panchayat level. But when it comes to policy implementation, policy formulation. It is pretty much the same, but the scale is different.
Yeah,
Okay, the scale is more to do with local issues. The scale is, it tries to address and manage issues which are very local. Uh, but at the same time, it gives you a perspective and it gives you a chance to be involved in making the changes and to have an influence in all of that which is happening there. And in that context, okay, I said, let me contest the panchayat elections, and fortunately I got through and won the elections. And it's been 3 years now, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So now talking about the panchayat election which you won in 2015, what are the key areas you are working and how these are impacting the society?
One of my main objectives was to bring communities together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and coming from the background I have of IT and 30 years in IT and so on, vis-a-vis, going into a panchayat where people are, from the local village and the villages around. It was trying to give them a sense that that we are in it together, and we have to solve our problems and find solutions to them ourselves. So with that in mind, there are four areas which we concentrated on
Yeah.
and continue to work in: education,
Mm-hmm.
health, environment, and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Education, we impact about 23 schools and about 1,300 children, and we provide them with all the amenities that is required for schools to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare, we hold health camps, and we also bring in diabetes awareness through a walkathon which is held annually.
Mm-hmm.
Environment, we have a very passionate team which is so involved and helping me in enforcing waste management and at a house level
Mm-hmm.
uh, to bring in the two bin one bag policy
Mm-hmm.
now. And infrastructure, we've been working on many things from roads to street lights to bus shelters to what have you. So all of those things are so important to create a very conducive and harmonious
Yeah.
and a flourishing community.
Yeah, and frankly speaking, health, education, infrastructure, and environment, these are four key issues, four key areas every government, every country need to focus. And I'm really less experienced than you, and you are expert, you're entrepreneur, you work in a multinational company, and you know this better. And so, if all the governments, all the provincial government, they focus on these four issues, our situation of our country will definitely improve in all the areas.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think it goes without saying at all, and that's what the government is supposed to do, and not get involved in what we see today. They are away from these aspects, and they seem to be concentrating more on linguistic issues, communal issues, which is not what the government has been elected to do.
Now, talking about your constituency, KR Puram, what are the major issues this constituency are facing?
Well, this constituency has been neglected would be a very mild word to use. Okay, and an extreme word to use would be exploited, completely exploited for the last 10 years by
Hmm.
both the BJP representative as well as the Congress representative,
Wow.
uh, who is the current MLA. Um, so much so that if you look at it, there are about 7 lakhs or a little more than 7 lakh people in the constituency. There is not a hospital of any significance in the constituency. For any medical aid, somebody has to travel, okay, at least an hour and a half, okay, in an ambulance, you can imagine, to get to a hospital. Now that's quite ridiculous in the 21st century.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, having said that, the issues are many. We have crime, okay. KR Puram is now being touted as Crime Puram
Wow.
because it contributes to 50% of the crime in Bangalore city, which is ridiculous. I mean, which is absolutely ridiculous. The second thing, which is a huge challenge in KR Puram, is to do with the lake encroachment. It seems like they have devised a method of encroaching the lake, converting that into layouts, and handing them to the real estate mafia,
Hmm.
who have been milking it and making millions and crores of rupees from such encroachment, uh, which has in fact affected the the water table in the area,
Yeah.
and so much so that today, if you dig a bore well even at 2,000 feet, you don't get water.
Yes.
Now, all of this definitely is exploitation. There's nothing else. There's no other word than that. So these are some of the main issues as far as KR Puram concerned. It does have problems like education, where the government schools are absolutely neglected. Absolutely neglected. I mean, children have to cross open drains which are flowing in their playgrounds to get to a classroom. And how do they do it? Literally place, pieces of stone or bricks and use them to thread their way into classroom. Now, what kind of an environment is that for education? So if you look at KR Puram, uh, it is okay, purely and simply because the main man here, the MLA, does not have the experience, the skill,
Mm-hmm.
or the ability, or the vision to get things done. The
Yeah.
only thing he does is, and which is famously known in KR Puram, is that every contract, okay, he must have a commission.
Oh.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's the basic problem with all the ministers who are involved in corruption. Are there any major issues which you will be focusing as MLA, which is concerning Karnataka?
As an MLA, I would be very selfish to make sure that, like I just mentioned, there are many things that need to be corrected in Kerala, and I'll remain focused to make sure that the people who have elected me in Kerala are able to gain from my experience and expertise first, and then obviously, at a much larger level and a bigger canvas, and being an MLA, I will definitely participate in issues which are at the state level. Now, it so happens that the state level and some of the issues in KR Puram are pretty common. Like for example, you take price rise
Mm-hmm.
and inflation. That's a huge thing. I mean, in the last 4 years or 5 years, uh, basic requirements from rice to dal to all the essential commodities, and the prices have gone up by almost like 200%,
Yeah.
whereas income levels have not gone up at the same level. Now, how can people afford this? And this is something where the government has to really work very hard. The second issue, which is plaguing and which Karnataka unfortunately has this tag of being the most corrupt state in India. So corruption is the second biggest issue in Karnataka. The
Mm-hmm.
third one is unemployment.
Yeah.
With the proliferation of youth, with more people coming out of schools, colleges, and universities, and graduating to them, uh, the jobs are not there. There's a mismatch of skill. And these are things which the government has to sit down and make the correction. And they have to do it at a local level, at a
Yeah.
state level.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be done. And that is something which they are not doing. So those are no these things really require a lot of attention, and you just cannot ignore it because it is affecting our future generations.
Yeah. How the data affect these policies? Do we have enough data with our government?
Well, they are supposed to make decisions based on data.
Yeah.
And I come from a training background that you have to make informed decisions.
Yes.
You're not going to make decisions on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I'm sure they have enough data points, okay, to make the decision. The problem is not the data. The problem is who are these people who are making the decisions? Do they have the skills? Do they have the experience? Do they have the vision to interpret the data which is put in front of them and to make sure that those data points are converted into actual action points on the ground, which is unfortunately they don't have it. We are dealing with people who have never been to school. We are dealing with people who are absolutely corrupt. Their only passion and vision in life is to make money out of everything that comes. Yes, absolutely. And how can somebody work in that atmosphere, in that environment?
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
Yeah, that environment is really discouraging. And last Sunday, I was talking to Renuka Viswanathan, she's also Aam Aadmi Party candidate from Santinagar, and she says she emphasized on technocracy. So we really lack the expert in the admin level who take the informed decision. So our government should really focus on technocracy and give the responsibility to experts, not to the person they like personally.
Absolutely. And what's the point in having experts when you don't listen to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not having is as good as not having them.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, today, the government has experts and expert panels only to fool the public. Okay, to show them that the expert panel has made this decision and that decision and this recommendation, but never do anything.
Yeah.
Completely ignore them.
Yes.
So much so, many people in these expert panels and they just leave those panels and go away because they're absolutely disgruntled with this kind of an attitude.
How do you manage your campaigns, and what is the public response when you go door to door or do some public gathering?
I mean, it is, as you know, this is my first foray into politics at this level. Uh, Very interestingly, wherever we go, uh, people talk about change and the need for change. Fortunately for me, I do have a very, very motivated team of volunteers who are as passionate as you are about Aam Aadmi Party and leave no stone unturned to get the message across, to engage with the voting public, and to talk to them about issues and concerns locally and how we are going to resolve it. So I've been on the ground, going from street to street, from community to community, and meeting with a variety of people from different backgrounds. And the bottom line is they want to see change. At the end of the day, people are very simple. They have very little needs. And if the needs are met, you create a happy environment. And that is what we want to make sure that our happiness quotient in every constituency and in the state and in the country goes up by just meeting people's simple needs.
Yeah.
All they want is a decent road. All they want is a proper sewage treatment plant. All they want is proper stormwater drains.
Yes.
And they don't need anything beyond that. They just need street lights. They need clean power. They need to make sure that whatever their essential commodities are available at a reasonable price. These are very simple requirements and needs. We want to make sure that our tax contributions are working for us. And it is the government's job and their duty to make sure that the tax contributions from every person is actually going back to the public in some form or the other as benefits, as amenities, to cover all their basic rights, be it healthcare, be it education, be it civic amenities. All of these things, why do we contribute as taxes? Not to line a politician's pocket. Uh, we contribute only to make sure that people benefit from it. And that is governance.
Yeah.
That is clear governance. And that is why you elect a government.
Mhm.
But unfortunately today, what we see is that the government comes into power only to make money. And they forget that the people who have voted them, okay, have certain needs. They forget that they have made promises when they got elected, okay, but they ignore them when they are in power. And this is true for all the national parties at this point in time. And that is where Aam Aadmi Party comes in, and like you rightly pointed out, we bring in and we take in the argument and the discussion at a different level,
Yeah.
at a level which makes sense, at a level which means absolute benefit to every citizen in the country.
In your campaign on social media, I have seen some videos you talk about the uncompleted projects. Any plan or any thought about those uncompleted projects you wanna tell to audience here?
The ones I've spoken about are all infrastructure projects.
Yeah.
Just to take a step back, uh, I'm given to understand that KR Puram has received over 3,000 crores as a constituency in the last 5 years and 860 crores in the previous 5 years. So you can
Can
imagine
you repeat the money again? 3,000 crores and 850.
860 crores in the previous year. So in a
Wow.
10-year period, KR Puram has received close to 4,000 crores. Now, having got that kind of money, both the BJP and the Congress have flouted it. The infrastructure projects which I have highlighted in my video, you take the Horomao underpass. I know you're not very familiar with the landscape, but Hormao is a locality and an area within KR Puram where people have been demanding for a simple underpass to be built for the last 7, 8 years. And that project has been going on for that long. Now, with delay, it also means there is escalation in price. And when there's escalation in price, the only person who benefits from that, okay, is the politician and the contractor. Nobody else.
Yeah.
People go through a harrowing time. There is a sewage treatment plant which they spent I think close to 100 crores and put it up right next to a lake to prevent sewage water from going into the lake or discharge only treated water into the lake. But what has happened is that this sewage treatment plant, which was inaugurated about 6, 7 months ago, is not operational even today. And when I visited the plant, you find that the open drain is still flowing with absolutely unfiltered sewage directly into the lake, which means that that ecosystem there, in a very, very short time, is going to die. And what does that mean? When that happens, okay, the land mafia walks in, they acquire the land, backfill the land, and acquire it, and then sell it. Now this is something which is happening by design,
Wow.
and this has to be stopped.
Yeah, definitely. This has to be stopped. 100 crore rupees, 7 month of work project is done. It's not solving its purpose, right?
Absolutely. I mean, whose money is it? It's our money.
It's our money.
It's our money which has been spent, and we are not able to realize the benefit of it, which is absolutely nonsensical.
Yeah.
And I'm actually short of all critical words this year because it is so bad, the situation on the ground. Now I don't mean to paint a very gloomy picture. Now I see an opportunity there, an opportunity to set things right very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the MLA's job is, and
Yeah.
that's what I intend to do if I get elected.
Yeah, that's really good to hear about that one. And you are really popular among all the NRIs and other members who are living across the world because your involvement and as an entrepreneur. So, any appeal uh, to them to come and support you?
Well, I'm humbled that I'm popular with the NRIs. My appeal to them, although they are very far away, uh, is to continue to support the way you are doing Aditya, okay, and to make sure that every voice in India is heard, and every voice in India which is fighting against this corruption, okay, which is fighting against the inequalities, which is fighting against communal issues. All of them are heard and supported by everybody. For us, we are Indians first. Everything else is second. And that must continue. So it doesn't matter where you are. Please be Indians first, and I really appreciate your sentiment on that.
Yeah, and fortunately, we have got the platform today as Aam Aadmi Party, and we are bringing together, and that day is not very far. So,
Absolutely.
how do you manage your campaign expenditure?
Well, our cabinet expenditure is very simple. We run it through mainly through donations in a very simplistic manner. Uh, we do not believe, or I personally do not believe in incentivizing people, providing cash incentives to people, or doling out goodies to people to get votes. That's not the way to do it. You need to talk to the people, get to the people. Okay, yes, you need propaganda material, you need resources, you need banners, you need hoarding, you need all of those things, and you need media support. And that's exactly where my expenditure is at this point in time, which is very small, which is very limited, but we are making sure that it's absolutely transparent as well.
Yeah, so friends, since Aam Aadmi Party runs on the clean money and they don't support the idea of taking donation from corporations, so please come forward and support Aam Aadmi Party candidates. You can go to donate.aamaadmiparty.org and donate online using credit card, debit card. You can also donate using check. If you want to support Lingaraj Urs, you can go to his profile available on candidates.aapkar.in.
So thank you for that, Aditya, and the opportunity to connect with many people. I really appreciate the dialogue we've had. Yeah. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Yeah, it was really pleasure to talk to you, and Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.